Hey folks, in today's video we'll be reviewing the Deck of Possibilities from Velvet Fang.
The folks over at Velvet Fang sent us the Deck of Possibilities because they have a Kickstarter that's coming out soon, and so we thought we would let you know what we think about it. First off, this is a chunky boy.
Yeah.
There's a lot here. And at first, I kind of made me a little nervous because I was like, man, do I want to bring this to the table with me? But this is all the cards that you'll use to help build your deck. You don't have to have this whole thing in play. And I think that's a really good thing to know first off.
We also were sent a beta deck, so some of the artwork still has yet to be finished. That's part of the Kickstarter, and there might be some small changes that are made, but it gave us a really good idea of kind of the core concepts of this deck, which I think is a really great Game Master tool.
So overall, what the deck is a self-contained adventure or encounter or even an entire session for Dungeons and Dragons or maybe another D20 high fantasy adventure type game. You're going to have a character sheet and some dice in order to use this. It's not a standalone game by itself, but it is a standalone adventure, and I think that that's really important to put out.
And there are a few different ways you can use it. So the first way is, as a game master, if you're trying to plan out like an exploration, I know my characters are going from point A to point B, what is going to happen along the way? You can look through it to get ideas and then flesh it out, so you can just use that deck in that idea building stage.
The other way that you use the deck is where it really shines and is really how it's intended to be used. The idea is that you, as the game master, and following the rules or the guidelines that are in the book, you choose a handful of cards, whether those are locations, encounters, monsters, treasure, trap, and even the monster's lair. And you build that deck and shuffle it, and you lay it down on the table as you go. You can even use it kind of to create the map of the monster's lair as you're going. And that's where this deck is a really great adventure or encounter or session, like I said. What it does is create a really neat improvisational, randomized encounter or adventure every single time you use it.
There are a number of cards that are your party has succeeded or they've reached the destination. You can have the players make skill checks or say how they're trying to find whatever it is they're finding, and then depending on their successes, put that many number of cards in the deck and then shuffle it. So this is going to give you kind of a random, you don't know how long exactly it's going to take till they get there. If they have more successes, it's much more likely they'll be up at the top of the deck, but it still might take almost the whole deck to get there.
So if you ran like 2 adventures in the same day with 2 different groups and you used the exact same deck, you would end up with 2 very different adventures, and I think that that's amazing.
Another cool aspect about the deck is there are cards that you can give to the players. Things like a bypass or a safe resting place, suggested if they make skill checks or kind of explain why they would know this, that then they can play whenever they want. A big thanks to all of our patrons, especially Sean. If you want to support our channel, you can head on over to patreon.com/rollforinitiative and check out the perks of being a patron.
The cards themselves are pretty cool. They're sort of like tarot deck sized. I really do suggest that you get some sleeve protectors for this. And what's really neat about having a sleeve protector is you can then use dry erase to write on the cards, write on the sleeve, and really further customize them and make them your own and make them tailored to the adventure that you're running that day.
Really like the style of the art that's on the cards. Again, it's another little thing that might spark an idea just looking at the card.
Especially the Monster Lair card. That's a really cool piece of art.
Down at the bottom, it does list what kind of category each of the cards falls under. There's like a spot for if there's any spot skills, so how do they see this encounter or obstacle, as well as info on like how long this card should last. Now you are going to need these stats for whatever monsters or obstacles you come up against, so that's something you can then refer to the books for, but this will at least give you that guideline of how the adventure is going to play out.
I think that this is an amazing tool for a GM that wants to have a bit of fun randomizing the adventures. And if you're somebody that runs multiple games a day, like at a convention or Adventure League or something like that, then I think this is a really valuable asset. And if you're watching this video when it comes out, which is the summer of 22, then the Kickstarter's coming soon. And I know that there are plans, depending on how well the Kickstarter does or future expansions, to give new types of decks. The deck of possibilities is very much set for sort of an outdoor forest or plains adventure. But I'd love to see Velvet Fang come out with new decks for seafaring or even in space or a city setting. And I'm pretty sure that there's plans to do that if this one does well.
The deck is also very much combat, exploration, and like trap focused. There are a few cards that could potentially lead to social encounters, but so if you're looking for something that's more social, this might not be the deck for you. But if you're looking for those ideas for the combat or obstacles, I think this is going to be a very useful tool.
Yeah, some of the cards are generic enough that you could make it work for non-combat, but honestly, combat and encounters is where this deck shines. So that's the deck of possibilities. What do you think this idea of the randomized improvisational adventure for each of your sessions? Is this the kind of GM's tool that you would definitely pick up? Is it the sort of thing that you've always wanted but never been able to find? And if the last one's true, then make sure you head over to the Kickstarter page and follow that so you get notifications when it goes live.
Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit subscribe because we make videos here all about tabletop RPGs and our other geeky interests. And until next time, I'm Dawn.
I'm Ryan.
And this is Roll for Initiative.
Bye.
Head on over to patreon.com/rollforinitiative and check out the perks of being a patron.